We're going to now round off by looking at a character arc and how the key character of Scrooge kind of changes throughout the narrative. It'd be very good if Scrooge comes up in the exam. It'd be very useful. So first off then, let's look at what he's like at the start of the text. Now I think you probably have got an idea what he's like. So in stave 1 then, Scrooge is a miser, basically. So he's introduced as cold-hearted and obsessed with money. Okay, really, really unpleasant to know. So Dickens presents Scrooge at the start as the embodiment of Victorian greed, or the allegorical figure for Victorian greed, if I want the top grades, and selfishness at the start of the novella. And a really good quote, it's so memorable, which shows this characterisation at the start. He was as hard and sharp as flint, and solitary as an oyster. That's such a great kind of quote, but it really symbolises that Scrooge is not a pleasant guy to know at the start of the text. However, it does change. Now, as I teach when I'm teaching my students around the world or in class, novels and novellas are normally about turning points, and this is a big turning point in the narrative for Scrooge. So in stave 2, the ghost of Christmas past kind of gives him guidance. So the ghost is kind of like a spirit and very firm but compassionate, and represents memory and regret, and kind of teaches Scrooge the errors of his ways, obviously. And a really good quote is, "Would you so soon put out with worldly hands the light that I give?" So he's basically saying to Scrooge, you need to listen. You need to take this on board, because if you don't, it's implied, from a Christian interpretation, you could end up in hell for being too greedy and not living a Christian life. And so it's a real turning point. It's an ethical turning point, and it turns Scrooge on the right path, I should say. Then, at the end of the text then, how does Scrooge finish then? Well, let's have a little analysis of that. So by stave 5, you can see he's looking very jolly there. So Scrooge becomes joyful, generous and transformed ultimately. So he is now an allegorical figure of hope, proving people can change. They can redeem themselves. Redemption is what he symbolises. And a really good quote at the end. "I will honour Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year." Okay, so he's very much changed. He is no longer solitary as an oyster.